The muscle car wars are in full swing. Camaros, Mustangs, and GTOs are battling for supremacy. And just when it looked like only the rich kids could play, Plymouth dropped a bombshell, the Road Runner. Named after a cartoon bird, priced under $3,000, and loud enough to wake the suburbs, it was built for pure mischief. But here's the kicker. Behind the budget-friendly sticker lurked a car packed with oddities, loopholes, and jaw-dropping stories. Today, we're diving into 20 weird facts you didn't know about the 1969 Plymouth Road Runner. And wait till you hear why number 1 almost never made it to production at all. Buckle in. The 1969 Plymouth Road Runner wasn't just another muscle car. It was Detroit's prankster, cheap, fast, and louder than its price tag suggested. It embodied a golden moment when raw horsepower could be had by anyone with a paper route and a used car loan. Before we tear through these 20 weird facts, make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that bell. Because we've got more muscle car mysteries coming your way, and you won't want to miss what's next. It was born from a cartoon contract. Most muscle cars were named after animals or speed-related imagery. But the Road Runner? It came from a $50,000 licensing deal with Warner Brothers for the rights to use the Looney Tunes character and its famous beep-beep horn. Chrysler engineers even spent an additional $10,000 developing a real horn that mimicked the sound. Why? Because authenticity mattered, even in a joke. Buyers loved it. It became one of the most iconic automotive sounds of the era. Spotter's tip. Factory horns had a distinct high-pitched tone. Reproductions often sound off. And if you think a cartoon origin is odd, wait until you hear what Plymouth stuffed under the hood in number 19. The 426 Hemi wasn't supposed to be there. The 1969 Road Runner was designed as a budget muscle car, yet buyers could tick the box for Chrysler's fire-breathing 426 HEMI. This was essentially a racing engine disguised for the streets. Only around 787 Road Runners received it in 1969, making them unicorns today. Insurance companies loathed it. Premiums skyrocketed, which pushed many young buyers toward the 383 or 440 instead. Still, the Hemi made the car a legend. Here's the twist. Some dealers allegedly swapped in crate Hemis under the table for customers who wanted the power, but not the paperwork. Collector angle. Numbers matching Hemi Road Runners command six-figure prices at auction. But engines weren't the only surprises. Number 18 shows Plymouth even fooled buyers with the interior. The interior was a trick. You'd think a muscle car this famous would come with bucket seats, flashy trim, maybe a center console. Nope. The standard 1969 Road Runner came with a plain bench seat and rubber floor mats. No frills, on purpose. The entire point was to keep weight and costs down. If you wanted creature comforts, you had to pay extra. Buyers were often shocked to find their muscle car looked more like a taxi inside. Today, survivors with unoptioned Spartan interiors are rarer than loaded ones, since most buyers upgraded over time. Spotter's tip: check for original mat fasteners and seat vinyl patterns. Clones often get it wrong. And speaking of wrong, number 17 shows Plymouth even had a problem with its own badges. The cartoon logo had to be protected. When Plymouth added the famous Road Runner bird decals, Warner Brothers insisted on strict design controls. The cartoon bird couldn't look angry or menacing. As a result, Chrysler's design staff had to carefully copy Warner Brothers' artwork with official approval on every draft. Dealers weren't allowed to alter the decals either, something unheard of in the era. Even today, reproduction decals can be slightly off, and collectors hunt for OEM originals. Here's the kicker. In some export markets, the decals were omitted entirely due to trademark headaches. And if decals caused legal chaos, wait until number 16 when the whole car nearly got banned from NASCAR. NASCAR thought it was too cheap to be serious. When Plymouth entered the Road Runner into NASCAR's stock car races, officials laughed. A bare-bones budget machine? No way it could hang with Ford's Thunderbolts or Chevy's big blocks. Then Richard Petty got behind the wheel. With the 426 Hemi under hood, the cheap Road Runner suddenly became a terror on the oval. NASCAR was forced to take it seriously, and by 1970, the Road Runner's aerodynamic Superbird variant rewrote racing history. Collector tip: early Petty Blue promotional models are incredibly sought after. But NASCAR wasn't the only place where the Road Runner shocked people. Number 15 will take you into the police garage. 15. Police departments ordered them. While the Road Runner was marketed to young hot rodders, several police departments saw potential in its speed-to-cost ratio. Agencies in the Midwest and rural South ordered specially outfitted Road Runners with heavy-duty suspensions and calibrated speedometers. Imagine being chased by the same cartoon bird you admired on TV. Today, genuine ex-police Road Runners are rare. Look for evidence of spotlight holes or patched radio mounts. And here's the twist. Some cops admitted the cars were almost too fast to handle safely. The air grabber hood was straight from a comic book. The optional air grabber hood scoop looked like something out of a Saturday morning cartoon. Controlled by a lever inside, it opened a vacuum-actuated flap on the hood, exposing bold shark-tooth decals around the scoop. Functional and flashy, it fed cooler air into the carburetor while terrifying anyone in the next lane. Rumor says Plymouth designers borrowed the idea from drag racers who cut holes in their hoods. Collector note: real air grabber systems are valuable, especially with the original shark-tooth graphics intact. The beep-beep horn almost didn't pass safety laws. Here's the kicker. The Road Runner's horn, engineered to mimic the Warner Brothers cartoon sound, nearly got banned. Early prototypes didn't meet federal decibel requirements for loudness. Engineers had to retune the mechanism so it was both funny and legal. Even then, some dealers claimed buyers complained it sounded too silly for a muscle car, but the novelty stuck. Today, that horn is one of the most beloved features, and reproductions often sell out. Spotter's tip: original units carry Chrysler part numbers stamped on the housing. The A12 440 plus 6 package changed everything. Midway through 1969, Plymouth released the A12 package, a 440 cubic inch engine topped with 3 Holley 2-barrel carbs, nicknamed the 440 plus 6. Rated at 390 horsepower, it was nearly as quick as a Hemi, but cheaper. The package also included a fiberglass lift-off hood with 4 hood pins. No hinges. Owners had to remove it entirely to work on the engine. Production was limited, and originals are highly prized. Spotter's tip: look for factory-coded M in the VIN to confirm a real A12 car. It outsold the GTO. The Pontiac GTO is remembered as the muscle car benchmark, but in 1969, the Road Runner stole its crown. Plymouth sold over 80,000 Road Runners that year, outselling Pontiac's Legend by a wide margin. Why? Because the Road Runner was cheaper, lighter, and felt like less of a dad's car. Even Motor Trend magazine named it Car of the Year. Today, 1969 marks the high-water point for Road Runner production. The twist? By 1971, sales collapsed as insurance rates and emissions rules strangled the muscle car market. 10. The convertible was super rare. Out of more than 80,000 Road Runners built in 1969, Only about 2,100 were convertibles. Add a Hemi to that formula, and you're looking at single-digit survivors. Insurance companies practically laughed at young buyers who wanted a Hemi convertible. Premiums often doubled the sticker price. Today, genuine 1969 Road Runner convertibles are collector holy grails. Spotter's tip: check rear seatbelt mounts. Many clones forget these reinforcements. And if convertibles seem rare, number 9 proves even the humble paint job had secrets. The rare Bahama yellow paint. While most Road Runners came in bright hues like Hemi orange or limelight, a tiny number were sprayed in Bahama yellow. Dealers reported it was an unpopular choice, too pale compared to flashy muscle car colors. Many were repainted within a few years. Survivors are rare and valuable today, precisely because so few survived in original shade. The twist? Some period photos suggest export cars wore slightly different yellows, sparking debate among restorers. Always check paint codes on the fender tag before believing a survivor story. Drag racers exploited its budget roots. Because the Road Runner was cheaper and lighter than its Dodge Super B cousin, drag racers quickly adopted it. Many stripped interiors further, making the car brutally quick in NHRA superstock classes. Plymouth engineers quietly supported them, funneling parts and advice despite the official no racing policy. Some claim dealers even delivered cars with blueprinted engines for favored customers. Collector note: true drag veterans often have telltale roll bar mounts or welded rear spring perches. And here's the kicker. Number 7 shows how even Hollywood wanted in. It appeared in pop culture almost immediately. From two-lane blacktop to regional TV spots, the Road Runner became a cultural symbol of speed. Its cartoon tie-in gave it a unique crossover appeal. Kids loved the horn, teens wanted the car, and parents recognized the bird from Saturday mornings. By 1969, even toy makers like Hot Wheels were producing die-cast Road Runners. This cultural crossover made it one of the few muscle cars everyone knew, even non-car folks. Spotter's tip: early promo models stamped Chrysler Corporation are now worth serious cash. The liftoff hood was a theft magnet. The lightweight fiberglass liftoff hood used on a 1244 plus 6 models wasn't just functional, it was easily stolen. Owners joked you couldn't leave the car parked without someone lifting your hood, literally. Many replaced them with steel hoods, which makes originals scarce today. The kicker? Plymouth supplied these hoods in primer only, leaving owners to paint them. True survivors often show factory primer under edges where top paint didn't reach. That detail alone can separate a genuine part from a reproduction worth far less. Insurance companies declared war. By late 1969, insurance firms began cracking down on muscle cars. The Road Runner, despite its budget tag, was no exception. Premiums often doubled for 383 or 440 cars, and Hemi buyers got slammed hardest. Some young buyers cleverly ordered Road Runners with base engines, then swapped in big blocks later. Others registered them under parents' names to dodge rates. Collectors today note mismatched VINs and engine codes on many survivors for this reason. And here's the twist. Number 4 reveals a hidden export story almost nobody talks about. Export versions had odd features. Plymouth exported Road Runners to Canada, Europe, and even South America. Regulations meant changes, different lighting, metric speedometers, and in some cases, deleted cartoon decals due to licensing issues. European versions often carried unique mirrors and smaller bumpers to satisfy laws. These cars are incredibly rare today, often overlooked in collections. Spotter's tip: look for export codes stamped on the fender tag. Rumor says a handful even made it to Switzerland with smog equipment years before it was required stateside. Some came with a delete option for radios. Believe it or not, the Road Runner could be ordered with no radio at all. Why? Because street racers wanted fewer distractions and less weight. The radio delete plate became a quirky collector item, basically a flat piece of metal where the radio should be. Ironically, many owners later added aftermarket stereos anyway, tossing the original delete plates. Today, those little plates fetch hundreds of dollars. Spotter's tip: original plates are painted to match the dash grain. Reproductions often miss this subtle texture. The beep beep name almost got dropped. Executives at Chrysler initially balked at naming a serious muscle car after a cartoon. Some argued it would ruin credibility with older buyers, but marketing studies showed younger audiences loved it, and sales potential was undeniable. The name stayed, saving the program. Here's the kicker: a few early press cars were badged only as Plymouth Road Runner without the bird decal, as insurance against backlash. Today, collectors debate whether these are true pre-production oddities or just dealer mix-ups. And then, there's number one. It almost never made production at all. Here's the bombshell. The Road Runner project began as a skunk works idea within Chrysler, pitched by product planner Jack Smith. Corporate brass doubted a cheap muscle car would sell. Why strip options and add a cartoon? Yet Smith convinced them with a radical idea: price it under $3,000, target the youth market, and let performance speak louder than polish. The gamble worked. Sales crushed projections, changing muscle car history. Without Smith's persistence, the Road Runner might never have left the drawing board. That's the legacy hiding under the beep beep horn. So there you have it. 20 weird, wild, and wonderful facts about the 1969 Plymouth Road Runner. A car that began as a joke, became a sales juggernaut, and left behind stories that range from cartoon contracts to NASCAR legends. It was proof that speed didn't need leather seats or chrome trim, just guts, gears, and a bird decal that made everyone smile. Which of these facts blew your mind the most? Did you already know about the police versions or the export quirks? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you loved this ride through Mopar madness, check out our deep dives on the Dodge Charger and Plymouth Superbird. Trust me, the rabbit hole only gets deeper. Until next time, keep your tires smoking and your horns beeping.